Welcome everyone to tonight's council meeting. I'm the Mayor, Councillor Thuy Dang. I declare this meeting open at 7 o'clock. I would like to welcome the members of the public who have joined us in the chamber tonight. Members of the public attending council and committee meetings are expected to behave respectfully at all times and not permitted to engage with councillors and council officers during the course of the meeting. This includes directing loud and inappropriate comments towards councillors and officers, or making noise that impact council's ability to conduct its meeting. All persons present tonight have a right to be safe and treated with respect. Council will not tolerate any behavior that threatens the safety of anyone present in the chamber or which disrupts the ability for council to conduct its business on behalf of the community. You will be asked to leave the meeting if your behavior is inappropriate, disruptive, or rude. All members of the galleries are required to register their attendance at council meetings to support continuous efforts to maintain a safe and secure environment for all participants whilst allowing council to conduct an orderly meeting. In the unlikely event of an emergency, please follow the direction of the council officer and the emergency procedure on the wall near the door. I would like to note I have given approval to Channel 31 to live stream of this meeting. A recording of this meeting will be published on council's website. So item number 1 for tonight's meetings. So for the opening and including the acknowledgement of the country. So please stand for the acknowledgement of the country. On behalf of Brimbank City Council, I respectfully acknowledge and recognize the Wurundjeri and Bunurong people as the traditional custodian of this land and pay respect to their elders past, present, and future. I ask Councillor to remain standing for the Council commitment. Others may be seated. At the Council, we will act in the best interest of the Brimbank community and consider the immediate and long-term impacts of our decisions. We will take the decision fairly and without bias. We will uphold all our obligations under the law of Victoria and Council's local law, and will act in accordance with the Model Councillor Code of Conduct. Councillor, please be seated. Item number 3, apologies or leave of absence. Councillor Rashid has requested a leave of absence from 31st of March 2025 to 29th of April 2025. May I have a mover, please? Councillor Tarkos?
I move the motion as per business papers, Madam Mayor.
Is there a seconder? Councillor Board?
I'll second the motion, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Board. Could anyone like to speak to the motion? Okay. So I'll put the motion to the vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you. I declare this motion carried. Item number 4, disclosure of conflict of interest. Are there any declaration of conflict of interest? No. Item number 5, designation of items as confidential. There are no confidential items for this meeting. Item number 6, Confirmation of minutes of previous meetings. May I have a mover of the motion to confirm the minutes of the previous council meeting? Councillor Rashid,
I move the motion as per business papers. Thank you.
thank you, Councillor Rashid. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Crook,
I second the motion as per business papers. Thank you.
thank you. Anyone would like to speak to the motion? So I put the motion to the vote. All in favour, please raise your hand. Thank you. The motion is carried. Item number 7, condolences. There are 2 items of condolences this evening. Item number 7.1, Tom Bowery. May I have mover for the condolences motion? Councillor Crook?
I'd like to move the motion, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Crook. May I have a seconder, please? Councillor Tarkos?
I second the motion. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Crook, would you like to say, to speak for the motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Today, we gather to honour and mourn the passing of Thomas Bowery, a man whose life was shaped by deep community service, quiet strength, and a love for his family that evolved over time into something truly remarkable. Tom was the father of Lee Bowery, an internationally celebrated artist whose work redefined the boundaries of performance, fashion, and self-expression. But before Lee was a global icon, he was just a young boy growing up right here in Sunshine. Part of a traditional working-class family where expectations for boys and men were clear. Let me take you back to Tom's younger years. To understand Tom Bowery as a father is to understand the world he grew up in. Australia shaped by post-war values, where traditional masculinity and strong discipline were the norm. Fathers who came of age in this era were often strict, reserved, and emotionally restrained, expected to be providers, not nurturers. By the 1970s, the decade in which Lee came of age, these expectations remained deeply ingrained. Fathers were still seen as practical, authoritative, and stoic, often not in touch with their softer, more emotional side. Parenting emphasized discipline and structure, and boys were expected to grow into strong masculine men. As described by Sue Tilley, the Bowery's biographer, for a father like Tom, it must have been perplexing to watch his son, tall, strong, and seemingly built for Australian rules football, instead spend his childhood fixing his mother's hair, playing the piano by ear, and sewing fabric into outfits that no one had ever seen before. And yet, through all of this, Thomas Bowery broke the mold of the 1970s. He deeply loved his son. Even if he didn't fully understand him, he supported him. When Lee turned 18 and announced that he wanted to leave for London to pursue his artistic ambition, Tom didn't stand in his way. He simply said, "You'll have a return ticket and $1,000 in your bank account, so you don't start with nothing there." He made sure that no matter how far his son ventured, he would never be without a safety net. Lee went on to become a legend of London's underground club scene, defying every convention of gender, art, and self-expression. He built a world where gender fluidity was celebrated and where those who had been rejected by mainstream society could be accepted, especially in the LGBTQIA+ and trans communities. His 1980s nightclub, Taboo, became a sanctuary of radical self-expression at the time when being different often came with real dangers. With Tom's support, Lee embarked on a journey that would see him become one of the most influential international art figures of the 1980s and 90s. In 1994, Tom's wife, Evelyn, passed away, and just 6 months later, Tom sat by Lee's bedside as he took his final breaths. Tom described mourning his wife and son just months apart as confusing and hard. Later in life, through healing and reflection, Tom wholeheartedly embraced his son's legacy. He and his daughter, Bronwyn, played an integral role in naming Brimbank's Bowery Theatre. He was always seen celebrating Lee's life, attending events at the Bowery Theatre, sitting on discussion panels, and even loaned Lee's artworks for his exhibitions, ensuring that his son's impact would be felt in Brimbank and across the world. Tom immersed himself in the art scene. He even boasted about meeting Boy George. Despite his personal losses, Tom remained dedicated to his community. He served as Justice of the Peace for over 40 years, offering his time and guidance to those in need. As we reflect on Tom's life, it is fitting that we mourn. The world is celebrating Lee's legacy right now. The Tate Modern in London is featuring a major retrospective on Lee Bowery, marking his enduring influence on the world of art and fashion. The international recognition is a testament to not only Lee's creative genius, but also the unwavering foundation of family support that Tom helped to build. Lee Bowery, son of Tom Bowery, from working class Sunshine Brimbank, is now an internationally recognized icon. Lee and Tom's legacy will live on together through Lee's influential art. Today, as chair of the Brimbank Arts Advisory Committee, I want to acknowledge that our arts and culture team is exploring further ways to honour the Bowery family's contribution to our city. But for now, on behalf of Brimbank City Council, we extend our deepest sympathies to the Bowery family. Tom Bowery's story is one of evolution, of a father learning to love his son, not just despite of his differences, but because of them. He reminds us that acceptance can grow even in the most unexpected places, and that true love transcends understanding. May Tom rest in peace, knowing his legacy of service, love, and quiet strength will not be forgotten. I move this motion of condolence. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Crook. Councillor Talcott, would you like to speak to the motion?
I'd like to say thank you to Councillor Crook for that very powerful, highly emotional. I know that several councillors were here when we launched the Bowery Theatre, and that's when I first met Tom. And Brimbank didn't have a theatre at the time, and it was through the fundraising of Jack Sheridan and a community group that, along with council, put together the funds to set up our first theatre, and to actually honour Lee Bowery by naming the theatre after the Bowery Theatre, and for Tom's kindness in allowing us to use the Bowery name, to use the theatre, and to be also be bold, which is exactly what Councillor Crook talked about, is about stepping out of our comfort zone and actually taking a step in whatever direction we do in the arts, and being bold is what the Bowery Theatre is all about. And I pay my sincere and deep condolences to the Bowery family. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Talcott. Could anyone else like to speak to the motion? Councillor Victoria Board.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would also like to join my fellow councillors in acknowledging the work that Tom and later on his son did for our community in Brimbank. I also had the opportunity to meet Tom when we opened the Bowery Theatre, and the smile on his face said it all. I would like to thank Councillor Crook and for such a detailed account of what Tom Bowery has achieved. I want to pass on also my condolences to this family and friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Had anyone else like to speak to the motion? I too like to speak to the motion. As a very first committee member and former chair of the Brimbank Arts Advisory Committee, I was there at the opening of the Bowery Theatre too. I feel a deeply connection to the Bowery family and greatly appreciate the significant contribution both Tom and Leigh's sister, Bronwyn, had made to our arts and culture unit. I fully echo Councillor Crook, Councillor Tarkos, and Deputy Mayor Victoria Board sentiments and want to add my own deepest condolences to Bronwyn and the Bowery family during this sad time of Tom Bowery's passing. Thank you. So I'll put the motion to the vote. All in favor, please put your hand. Raise your hand. Thank you. I declare the motion carried. We move to item number 7.2. Father condolences for Father Peter Carrington. May I have the mover for the motion, please? Councillor Pham.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I would like to move the condolences for Father Peter Carrican.
Thank you, Councillor Pham. Is there a seconder?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I'm the
Councillor
seconder.
Bouch.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Pham, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. So Father Peter Carrican is known as the priest who support migrants, refugees in 1950. He was appointed parish priest of St. Albans South in 1992, where he served the parish, the hospital, the wider community until his retirement in 2010, whereupon he was appointed pastor emeritus. He also the person who found Holy Eucharist loaf and fishes food bank in 1996 to assist those in need. This service continued to grow, feeding the most vulnerable in our community. And sadly, he passed away on Thursday, the 27th of February 2025 at 93 years old. I would like to put the condolences to his family and thanks him for all the contribution that he made for many, many people. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pham. Councillor Bowes, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Sorry, I got a frog in my throat. As a devoted Catholic myself, Father Peter was one of a kind. The influx of post-war migrants and refugees from communist countries in the 1950s, and my dad was one of them from Germany, led to a rapid growth of the western suburbs, especially in Brimbank and in St. Albans. Responding to all calls for help, Father Peter sought the support of every service available. He started something called a NILS, or a no-interest loan scheme, where refugees could borrow money without interest and repay the loan over a certain period of time. He sought permission from the Archdiocese to finance the purchase of a house to give temporary accommodation to homeless families in and around Brimbank. He appealed for clothing, food and assistance from the parishioners to help the newly arrived people in Australia, whichever way possible, which he could. So Father Peter, rest in peace. You'll always be remembered, a man with a great heart, who welcomed everyone who came through the church with open arms, and his legacy will always be blessed. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bouch. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? Councillor Victoria Board.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I knew Father Peter very well for a number of years as our parish priest, and on many occasions we used to have very intellectual discussions. He was very, very passionate about social issues, ranging from problems with asylum seekers and new arrivals who felt very lonely and isolated, could not speak English, and needed a great deal of help. And of course, those members of the community who were in need. Mental health or related problems was also a very important issue for him. And it was a great joy having such intellectual discussions with him. He certainly always thought outside the box. And as we've heard from my previous fellow councillors, he achieved a lot during his pastoral work. I would also like to pass the condolences for the family and friends, and thank Father Peter for such a wonderful legacy that is still continue to live on and will continue to live on for many years to come. Veil Father Peter.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? I put the motion to the vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you. I declare motion carried. Item number 8, congratulations. There are 3 items of congratulations this evening. Number 8.1, Julia Acadio. May I have a mover for this motion, please? Councillor Nguyen.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to move the congratulations motion as per business papers.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor Pham.
Sorry, I would like to move the motion as business paper. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Nguyen, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I wish to wish a happy birthday to Mrs. Trudia Arcadio, who will celebrate her 100th birthday next week. Born on March 25th, 1925, in Yamassoya, Cyprus, Mrs. Trudia Arcadio life's been filled with love, resilience, and many unforgettable moments. She arrived in Melbourne in 1950 aboard the Kifnia with her young 3 children, twin girls aged 2, and her 5-year-old son. This turbulent journey was made possible thanks to her husband Yengus, who had settled in Australia a year earlier. For several months, the family lived in a small 1-bedroom unit until they could afford a larger home in Sunshine West, where they lived for decades until Yengus passed away in 1993. Throughout her life, Trudia has faced challenges with unwavering strength and grace, remaining devoted to her family and leaving behind a lasting legacy. As the last surviving member of her siblings, she is the cornerstone of her family. She has been blessed with 5 children, 11 grandchildren, 12 great-grandchildren, and 3 godchildren, all of whom carry her spirit with love and gratitude. The family will soon gather for celebrations with over 140 loved ones. I wish Mrs. Trudia Arcadio a joyous 100th birthday, a remarkable milestone and a testament to a life well lived. May your days continue to be filled with love, laughter, and the warmth of those who wish to cherish you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nguyen. Councillor Pham, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It was very much detailed with Councillor whatever Councillor Nguyen was saying, but we always talk about Brimbank Brow, and I would like to congratulate Mrs. Trodia for her 100th birthday as well. As you know, that's her 100 year of achievement, and great to have people like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pham. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? I too like to speak to the motion. Dear Mrs. Trudia Arcadio, who will turn 100 years old on the 25th of March 2025. Your journey as a migrant woman has been nothing short of remarkable. Your fight challenges with drive and strength, and your life story is a testament to resilience and perseverance. Your experiences have not only shaped you, but have also enriched the lives of those around you. Your wisdom and spirit are an inspiration to all of us. On the family celebration days at the Greek Cypriot Youth Club next week, I hope your special day is filled with love and joy of your family and close friends. Wishing you good health and happiness always. So I put the motion to the vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you. I declare this motion carried. Item number 8.2, Clean Up Australia Day. May I have a mover for this motion, please? Councillor Targos?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move the motion as per business papers. Thank you.
Thank you. May I have a seconder, please? Councillor Pham?
I second the motion per business paper. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pham. Councillor Targos, would you like to speak to the motion?
Just briefly, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to congratulate all the community groups that participated and gave up their time on Clean Up Australia Day and supported civic pride in your contribution, no matter how big or small, on the Clean Up Day. And to all the other volunteers that individually or collectively work outside of Clean Up Australia Day, we truly appreciate all that you do. I noticed that the community is noticing a lot more dumped rubbish and that this issue is impacting not just our LGA but LGAs across Victoria, and we know that it's a substantial cost to ratepayers. We, councillors being ratepayers, also care about our community, and I know that several councillors participated on the day, and it gave them a great sense of pride to bag up all the rubbish with all the community. So thank you very much for helping.
Thank you, Councillor Targos. Councillor Pham, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Mayor. This year I have the privilege to join some of the community member in Clean Up Australia Day and help out. And I will see the anonymous works that volunteers spend their time to actually make Australia clean. But I would like to see it in everyday basis that, every single person in Brimbank or in Australia, actually contribute their work and even their how do I say it, like they're thinking about keeping Australia clean in everyday spaces. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pham. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? Councillor Trung?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This year I apologize because usually I'm site supervisor for Clean Up Australia Day for about 15 years, but this year I can't attend. But I'm very pleased. Anytime it's the time for people thinking. It's not only one day a year, but this it remind people thinking about us and to keep Australia is the beautiful place for everyone. And congratulations. Also, thank you very much all the volunteers to put their time and join in together. And I think this time it brings everyone in different level, in different community can join together and put their hand together for a special day. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Trung. Madam Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would also like to join my fellow councillors to congratulate the people of Brimbank who took part in the Clean Up Australia Day. A lot of work has been done and it's greatly appreciated. And of course, that shows the community's sense of pride. And it also reminds me of J.F. Kennedy's inaugural speech when he said, "Ask not what the country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." And this is a real classical example of that. So I want to take this opportunity to thank all the community groups that took part in this year's Clean Up Australia Day. I would have loved to join them, but unfortunately I was committed for a full day through another council commitment. So thank you once again.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? I'd like to shout out to all the volunteers and Julian Reynolds and Brimbank Sustainability and Climate Action Group, and of course others community group as well. Your dedication and hard work in participating in Clean Up Australia is truly inspiring. Whether you join a group effort or took the initiative to clean up on your own, your commitment to making our Brimbank cleaner and healthier is commendable. The power of change lies in our collective efforts. By working together, we can tackle the issue of litter, ensuring the sustainable future for generations to come. Keep inspiring others, and let's continue to make a positive impact on our beautiful Brimbank. Thank you for your incredible efforts and dedication. Together we can fix it. We move to item number 8. Oh, I'm sorry. I put the motion to the vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you. The motion is carried. I move to item number 4.8.3. May I have the mover, please? Councillor, Madam Deputy Mayor?
I'll move the motion as per business papers.
Thank you. May I have a seconder, please? Councillor Group?
I second the motion as per business papers. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Madam Deputy Mayor, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, I certainly do, Madam Mayor. It's always a great pleasure attending this festival that I attended for quite a few years now. But this year they have certainly reached a milestone. They are celebrating 55 years of the Polish Club Sports Festival. And I know there is a lot of work that goes into this festival, and it's a great pleasure attending it from one year to the other, and it has become such a tradition that the community always looks forward to. It's a time to come together, to have fun, play sports together, share cultural food and music and other cultural activities. But I can tell you it's a very full-on day, full of fun and great joy to be among this wonderful community. So I know, as I said, a lot of work goes into that, and they are facing quite a few challenges, but no matter what, they always stand tall and celebrate this event one year after the other. So congratulations on your 50th anniversary, 55th anniversary. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Councillor Group, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, I'm Polish, so of course I'm going to say a few words to this motion. It's such a tremendous achievement to have 55 years a club running for that long, with such a positive environment there. Even when I visit, and my Polish is quite rusty, they're so hospitable and inviting, and they encourage me to practice my language, and they always invite me over for pierogi, flaczki, some pączki and kotletki, all the amazing stuff. So I encourage you, just even outside of the festivals, to hop on over there, take a look, have some traditional food, enjoy the feast. And on this year, in fact, they've extended Polish scouting to the club. So that's on the weekends, and you can hop over there and enjoy that. So please do. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Cook. Would anyone like to speak to the motion? Councillor Tu?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I have been attend to the block to celebrate 55 anniversary, and I really impressed when I see a lot of parents to encourage and support their children to attend and to play the sport in around and. I see. So I think it's sport is to bring the family and the children together, and the police sport club it bring all the different ethnic community for the people to join, and to continue to celebrate for 50 years is really achievement for develop and development. I also enjoy to go around to shopping, to have the market, to with the traditional foods and the outfits, and it's the chance for me to learn, and to know something and a different to the different community for their culture, for their sport, and the main thing, it I believe it like sport can bring all of us together, and will be it's the good opportunity for everyone. When we say police sport club, I don't believe only provide for sport people, but for every member in the community, because I see all the different ethnic community it play at the congratulations for 55 anniversary for police sport club.
Thank you, Councillor Chung. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? I put the motion to the vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you. The motion is carried. Item number 8.4, Sunshine Heights Cricket Club. May I have a mover for the motion, please? Councillor Tarkos.
Madam Mayor, I move the motion as per business papers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tarkos. May I have a seconder, Councillor Chung?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I second motion like the paper on the screen.
Thank you, Councillor Chung. Councillor Tarkot, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I certainly will, and I'd like to thank you for asking me to go on your behalf this night. You must know I'm a cricket tragic. 70 years is a long time, and we certainly celebrated that and all the life members that attended, which was fantastic. But this night was significant in a different way. The club unveiled an honour board honouring women. And those women, not significant in terms of their playing cricket, but in their contribution towards the sports club. And we all know that women are the backbones of sports clubs, and the volunteering that they do in the kitchens, making sure kids have icy poles on hot days, all the little things that add up to the big things. But I really applaud this club in its forward thinking in putting together a honour board with the women's names in gold. And I was lucky enough that night, the Minister Sarah Connolly was there. She had to leave, and it was myself, Councillor Kim Tien Trung and Councillor Bosch who attended, and I thank them for coming along. And it's certainly something that I would see they would like to see other clubs take on as well, that women's role in sports clubs is recognised and acknowledged. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Tarkos. Councillor Chung, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I just would like to ask something together with Councillor Virginia. I very impressed when I see it's like the lifetime member to attend. Someone is over, 80 or nearly 90, and to show their support for the club, and also encourage their children, their grandchildren, to become the member in the club and to play in the club. And like I say, I show is some, they say it many years now, they have it different, a lot of like African, Sudanese, like the sport, they come to join, and they say how they exciting to be the member on the club and to play the game or to win the award. I think that is we need to support, we need to encourage the club and for the member and community. And I, like Councillor Virginia said, 70 years, it's a long term yet. And and now is the new renovation is rolling up, and we keep continue like the first the founder of the club still continue, and they say they still need the support from the council, but also support from the community to make the club is keep the development, but also because 70 year something in the block it needs to renovation or need to the
Thank you, Councillor Truen. Yeah, thank you, Councillor Truen. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? I put the motion to the vote. All in favour, please raise your hand. Thank you. I declare this motion carried. So we move to the item suspension of standing orders. May I have a move of motion to suspend standing orders for the Brimbank Community Panel to present their report to the Council? Councillor Tarkos?
Madam Mayor, I move that standing orders be suspended for Brimbank Community Panel to present their report to Council.
Thank you, Councillor Tarkos. The seconders, then have Councillor Crook.
I second the motion to remove standing orders. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Crook. So from December 2024, yeah, sorry. I put the motion to the vote. All in favour, please raise your hand. Thank you. The motion carries. So I'm glad to introduce the panel. From December 2024 to February 2025, the 39 members of the deliberative engagement panel attended 4 workshops. The first 2 workshops focused on discussing the challenges and priorities for Brimbank's future, while the final 2 workshops looked at key issues and principles to inform the council plan over the next 4 years. I would like to welcome and acknowledge members of the panel that may be in the gallery or watching the live streams. I would now like to invite Irina Kaluski and Nina Kataire on behalf of the Brimbank community member to present their insight on the council plan deliberative engagement process to council. This is an opportunity for councillors to hear feedback from the community. As such, there will be no opportunity for councillors to speak on this item. Thank you.
I want to start by acknowledging the incredible journey we've been on as a community panel. When we first came together, we were a group of 50 strangers, each from different backgrounds, life experiences and perspectives. But what brought us together was a passion for Brimbank and a desire to help shape its future. For many of us, joining this panel was about making sure our voices and the voices of our community were heard in council's decision making. Some of us have lived in Brimbank our entire lives, while others are newer residents, but all of us share a commitment to making Brimbank the best place it can be. Through this process, we've gained a deeper understanding of the challenges and opportunities facing our community, and we've been able to contribute in a meaningful way.
One of our tasks was imagining a vision for Brimbank's future. Across our discussions, few key themes kept coming up: better communication, more connected and engaged communities, safer and greener public spaces, and making Brimbank a place where people want to live, visit, and invest. We also discussed importance of balancing growth, sustainability, ensuring that the future generations benefit from the decisions made today. From there, we moved on deliberating some of the biggest challenges facing our council. This was one of the most eye-opening parts of the process. We didn't always agree, and at times it was difficult to reach a consensus. We saw firsthand how complex these decisions are. There is rarely a perfect solution. On issues like housing, public amenities, we had to weigh competing priorities. And we quickly realized how difficult it must be for council to make decisions that meet everyone's needs. But through respectful debate, we gained an appreciation for different perspectives and trade offs involved in every decision. Developing the guiding principles for decision making was perhaps the most challenging task. It was a difficult process. At times, we weren't even sure we were on the right track. But with the support of facilitators and open discussion and Brimbank staff as well, discussions between group, we were able to create principles that reflect the diverse needs of our community. The 7 principles developed by the councils are, I'm going to read one by one. Responding to community needs in accessible, inclusive, and diverse way. Community health and safety entitlement through total quality management of very available resources. Making responsible, accountable, transparent, and timely financial decisions. Economic opportunity, equity, and choice. Communication and consultation with community. Belonging and connection. Creative and innovative decision making. These principles will help guide council in making fair, transparent, and inclusive decisions that align with community priorities. I hand over to Irene.
Thank you. Looking back on this experience, I think we all agree that it was valuable. It has shown us how important it is for the community to be involved in shaping the future of Brimbank. It also reinforced that engagement is a two-way street. Council needs to reach out, but the community also has a responsibility to participate. To everyone here, thank you for listening to our reflections. To my fellow panel members, thank you for your dedication, your insights, and your willingness to work together to make a difference. I hope this process continues and that more people in our community have the chance to be part of shaping Brimbank. On behalf of the community panel, I would like to hand over a copy of the draft principles for decision making to the Chamber for Council's consideration. Thank you.
Firstly, I want to sincerely thank Irina and Nina for sharing your reflection tonight. Your words truly highlight the dedication, effort, and passion that each panel member had brought to this process. Hearing about your experience shows the importance of community voices in shaping council's decisions. To all the community panel members, thank you for your time, commitment, and thoughtful contributions. Over the past few months, you have tackled the complex challenges, engaged in meaningful discussions, and developed guiding principles that will help shape our council plan and strategic direction. Your insights are invaluable, and your work will have a lasting impact on our community. Council deeply appreciates the efforts you have put in, and we encourage you to stay engaged and as we move forward. Thank you again for being part of this important process and for helping to shape the future of Brimbank. Thank you. So may I have a mover of the motion to resume standing orders? Sorry, Councillor Crook.
I would like to move the motion to resume standing orders. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Cook. May I have a seconder, please? Madam Deputy Mayor.
I'll second that, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. We move to item number. We put the motion to the vote. So all are in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you. The motion is carried. I move to the item number 9, public question time. Mr. Bilava, I understand we have received questions from the members of public.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, we have received 14 questions. All questions and their answers will be replicated in the minutes of the meeting. The first 2 questions are from Danny Wong. Danny's first question is regarding 6 to 8 Alexandra Avenue under Local Law 49. The council has the authority to issue a notice to comply, requiring the owner to secure, fence, or repair a dilapidated building. Why has the council not compelled the owner to either commence development or demolish the structure? I'll also read out Danny's second question. Regarding 6 to 8 Alexandra Avenue, Local Law 51 allows penalties of up to 20 penalty units for failing to maintain a property. Can the council provide a record of all penalties or fines issued to the landowner in the past 5 years? If no fines have been issued, why not?
Council City Compliances Unit had taken all appropriate action under the provisions of local law regarding the property at number 6 to number 18 Alexander Avenue, Sunshine. This had included the number of notices being issued seeking corrective works to be carried out in regards to the size, appearance, and perimeter security. Officer will continue to monitor the site and respond to any complaints received. Unfortunately, compelling an owner to commence development is beyond council power. Whilst the municipal building surveyor has power to order that building be demolished, this power can only be used when strict tests outlined in the Building Act are met. For privacy reasons, Council will not provide specific information about compliance action taken against landowners or penalty or fines issued. Thank you.
Carly Deegan has also asked 2 questions in relation to 6 to 8 Alexandra Avenue. Her first question is, has the Municipal Building Surveyor considered issuing a building notice under Section 106 of the Building Act 1993, Vic, to the owner of 6 to 8 Alexandra Avenue, Sunshine? If not, will the Municipal Building Surveyor consider issuing such a notice on the basis that the building is unfit for occupation and that it represents a danger to life, safety, or the health of the public? Carly's second question is, has the Municipal Building Surveyor considered issuing a building order under Section 111 of the Building Act 1993 to the owner of 6 to 8 Alexandra Avenue, Sunshine? If not, will the Municipal Building Surveyor consider issuing such an order requiring demolition of the building?
The Municipal Building Surveyor is aware of the property at number 6 to 18 Alexandra Avenue, Sunshine, being a former council municipal building, and has been regularly monitoring and assessing the structural integrity of the building over the past 2 years. Orders were previously issued for the holding of the site to prevent access and possible risks to the public. In regards to whether further orders under Section 106 and 111, the Building Act 1993 will be issued, given the changing conditions of the site and structures. The Municipal Building Surveyor will need to reassess and review the site and building condition before any further action is undertaken. This is scheduled to occur in the coming months. Any appropriate action will be taken at the time.
Emil Carouse has asked, what is Brimbank doing in collaboration with police to ensure safer neighbourhoods, especially those within school zones, and to discourage theft, such as enforcing owners of abandoned properties to secure their properties?
Council takes the issue of safer neighborhood very seriously and work in collaboration with local police, including through the Safer Communities group who meet regularly to discuss concern and coordinate appropriate responses in the interest of safety for the community. An example is a program that was run with Victoria Police at the start of the school year to encourage safe driver behavior around the school zones. Abandoned properties are subject to inspection and appropriate actions under the dilapidation clause of the general local law. This may include notices being served requiring owners to effectively secure their properties using fencing or hoarding. Any questions regarding activities or programs undertaken by Victoria Police could be best directed to the police local area commands.
Catherine McDonald asks, the church in the Mackay Gardens has been broken into and vandalised numerous times. People walking their dogs have been attacked, garden beds have been set on fire, and are being used as open-air toilets. Can the CEO confirm that in the absence of bylaws against camping in the gardens, council is liable for any damage and injury?
Regarding liability claims, each case is assessed according to its merits. For council to be held liable for injury or property damage, it must be shown that council owed a duty of care, that it breached that duty of care, and that this resulted in damage.
Catherine also asks, does the council intend to enact bylaws forbidding public camping in the Mackay Gardens?
Council had existing clause within its general local law, which prohibits camping on council property or public land. This includes the Hackney Mackay Garden. However, Council is aware of the distinction between camping and persons affected by homelessness. Recently, persons were moved on from the specific area due to the report of antisocial behavior. Local law officers, in partnership with the staff from the community well-being area, will continue to monitor the area and take appropriate actions, including liaising with external stakeholders to offer support services to those affected.
Lachlan McKay has asked, does Brimbank have a comprehensive education program on responsible recycling and disposing of rubbish?
Education to promote responsibility recycling and waste disposable options is regularly delivered through a range of channels. This includes promotion of available disposal options such as hard waste collection service, the resource recovery center, the e-waste collection points in our library and other facilities, and the container deposit scheme collection points across the municipality. While most people in Brimbank do the right thing, the level of litter and rubbish dumping in our municipality is a concern for council, and significant costs are spent on cleansing up dumped rubbish from council land each year. Council is continuing to explore ways to tackle this problem. This including advocating to other landowners, such as Department of Transport and Planning, to clean up the litter and dumped rubbish on land that they manage.
Lachlan McKay has also asked, could the Brimbank Council consider heftier fines for littering and irresponsible disposal of rubbish, which could act as a deterrent for repeat or lazy offenders?
Infringement for rubbish dumping and littering offences are issued under the Environment Protection Act 2017, which is state legislation. The Act includes penalty amounts applicable to various offences. These amounts are set by Victorian government and are unable to be increased by council. For large-scale dumping, council can also prosecute offenders through the magistrate's court and have done so on multiple occasions.
Next question is from Nesta Evangelista. I have seen some people sleeping rough in some of our parks and some other public places. What is the council doing to alleviate the growing problem of homelessness in Brimbank?
Council is deeply concerned about rising number of rough sleepers across the municipality as a result of housing and homelessness crisis. We are actively working on collaboration with homelessness service providers to ensure rough sleepers are connected with appropriate supports and treated with dignity and respect. The responsibility for providing and resourcing housing and homelessness services lie primarily with the state and federal governments. Housing and homelessness is a key priority in Council advocacy plan. Council engaged with representatives from the state and federal governments, as well as peak body representatives of local government, including the Municipal Association of Victoria and the Australian Local Government Association on this matter.
Richard Carthew has asked on behalf of Friends of Yallik Baring. In the 2024-25 Brimbank City Council budget, funds were allocated for the replacement of the ageing irrigation system at the Keilor Public Golf Course and major development works of the driving range. When we will see these works commence, or have they been completely scrapped?
Council continues with planning of both the irrigation replacement and driving range upgrade at Keilor Public Golf Course, including meeting both the native flora and fauna and cultural heritage requirements for the works, which are significant when considering the status of the site. Construction works are expected to begin in 2025 and 2026 financial year.
Our next question is from Shannon Milak on behalf of the Brimbank Disability Advocacy and Support Committee. Last year, 3 members of the DAC quit. To date, there has been no notice of these positions being filled and no expression of interest for these roles posted. Furthermore, no meeting has taken place since November 2024, likely as a result of these yet to be filled positions. When will Council fill these roles, and in what months will the 4 meetings required for this year take place?
2025 Disability Advisory Committee meetings are scheduled for 2025, and the first meeting has been confirmed with existing members. A recruitment approach to new members will be discussed at the first meeting.
Shannon also asks, can Council confirm when the current members of the DAC's tenure will come to an end, and in what month/year a completely new committee will be appointed?
Disability Advisory Committee members are appointed for the period of the Disability Action Plan. The Brimbank Disability Action Plan is valid for the period from 2022 to 2026. A new Disability Action Plan could be appointed in line with the development on the next Disability Action Plan.
Lorraine Milak has asked, Council's All Abilities Golf Clinic at the Keilor Golf Course was a hit last year. When's the next one, and will it become a regular event for people with disability?
Council is currently finalising the plan for structured golf clinics to introduce the sport to more members of the community throughout Brimbank. At Keilor Public Golf Course, All ability clinics will form an important part of this program, and at this stage are planned to begin in late April or early May. Once confirmed, these clinics will be promoted to the Brimbank community. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There are no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Bilava. So we move to item number 10, petition. There are no petitions to receive this evening. Item number 11, minutes, reports of delegated committee. There are no minutes or delegated committee. Item number 12, officer reports. There are 4 officer reports for consideration by council tonight. If you have on motion this evening, you must draft this motion and provide to the governing team via email so that they may be shared on screen and form part of the meeting. Otherwise, we may have to defer the matter until the motion had been written, allowing the meeting to proceed uninterrupted. So, report number 12.1, planning activity update and delegate decision, including planning scheme amendment update. I invite Ms. Gilbert to present their report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This report is a regular monthly report that outlines the statutory planning activity, including applications received, decisions made, and VCAT appeals during the month of February. It also provides a status of planning scheme amendment updates during this period. It's recommended that Council notes the report, including Attachment 1, which shows the delegated planning permit decisions made in February 2025, and Attachment 3, which provides a summary of planning scheme amendments at the end of February. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gilbert. Councillor, are there any questions to the Director? No. Is there a mover of the motion? Deputy Mayor?
I'll move the motion as per shared screen.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Is there a seconder? Councillor Kerr?
I second the motion as per the shared screen.
Thank you, Councillor Kerr. Madam Deputy Mayor, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Kerr, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kerr. Is there any any others? Anyone else like to speak to the motion? Right. So I'll put the motion to the vote. All in favour, please raise your hand. I declare the motion carried. Thank you. I move to report number 12.2, Governance Report March 2025. I invite Director Hill to present their report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The monthly governance report is a standing report to Council in accordance with best practice and good governance principles and to ensure compliance with the requirements of the Local Government Act 2020, the Model Code of Conduct and the Councillor Support Policy. Council is asked to consider a summary of recent governance activity, contracts entered into and works orders approved in accordance with the S7 Instrument of Subdelegation, Councillor declarations of representation by Members of Parliament, Councillor support expenses for quarters 1 and 2 of financial year 24-25, proposal for a sister city relationship, Council submission to the West of Melbourne Economic Development Alliance draft consultation paper, and the minutes from the 27th of February 2025 Audit and Risk Committee meeting. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Director Hill. Councillor, are there any questions to the Director? No. Is there a mover of the motion? Councillor Nikolic?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I'd like to move the officer recommendations as per the notice paper.
Thank you, Councillor Nikolic. Is there a seconder of the motion? Councillor Tarkos?
Madam Mayor, I second the motion as per shared screen. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tarkos. Councillor Nikolic, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to speak to the Lead West Delegates report, which I've submitted, to provide an update to Council on the progress made to date on our key advocacy priorities. As Deputy Chair of the Alliance, I joined the Lead West delegation at Parliament House in Canberra on the 11th and 12th of February to meet with Federal Government MPs.
We had discussions with key decision makers, including the Honourable Catherine King, Minister for Infrastructure, Transport, Regional Development and Local Government, Assistant Minister for Foreign Affairs, the Honourable Tim Watts MP, Senator Steph Hodgkins-May from the Australian Greens Party, Member for Fraser, Dr. Daniel Molino, Member for Hawke, Mr. Sam Ray, Special Envoy for Social Cohesion, Peter Khalil MP. And we also met with senior advisors from the offices of the Opposition Leader, Mr. Peter Dutton, and the Honourable Christy McBain, Minister for Regional Development, Local Government and Territories. In these meetings, we reinforced the urgent need for investment in Melbourne's West, particularly for transport infrastructure, economic development, employment opportunities, urban renewal, and overall community wellbeing. Since these discussions, we've already had significant wins in the lead up to the federal election, and I'd like to highlight some of them. A $1.1 billion investment to improve the Western Highway, $2 billion for the transformation of Sunshine Station as part of the Melbourne Airport Rail project, along with much welcome news for our community that the Victorian Government's funding will be brought forward to allow works to begin earlier, and $300 million to boost rail services in the Melton Growth Corridor, including electrification of the Melton line. These outcomes demonstrate the power of direct advocacy. I'm a firm believer that meaningful change requires strong engagement with decision makers at all levels of government. Building these relationships allows us to make a compelling case for our region's needs, and it ensures that Melbourne's West remains firmly on the national agenda. These recent funding announcements are proof that our efforts deliver real results for our community. However, I acknowledge that there's still more to be done. Growing up in Melbourne's West, I've witnessed its rapid transformation firsthand, and I consider it a real privilege to continue advocating as Council's representative on behalf of our region, which is Australia's fastest growing. Lead West remains committed to securing further investment, particularly for public transport, connectivity and accessibility, so important for our growing community, and of course fixing the COLDA, which is high on the agenda. I look forward to sharing the outcomes of our future meetings and advocacy efforts with Council as we continue working towards a more prosperous Melbourne's West. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nikolic. Councillor Talkos, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, and thank you to Councillor Nikolic for giving us that report from Lead West. I'd like to speak to the WMEDA draft consultation paper. Now, WMEDA to me is very much, I consider it to be the think tank for the West in terms of providing evidence base in regards to what we need here in the West. Two things that I wanted to bring up is that the delays. The infrastructure project and what's attached to it, people think, oh, Melbourne Airport Rail Link is this homogenous project. It's broken down into Sunshine Super Hub, Albion Station rebuild, and also the new station at Keilor East. We're looking at a 4-year delay to these projects. We need them done before the runway comes along, purely because it makes sense that if there's going to be an extra few million passengers coming into the airport, how are people going to get there? So that needs to be stressed, the timing and the importance of making these projects a lot quicker. Also, the amplification of our advocacy around the Sunshine Employment Precinct, and also, key stakeholder groups. Okay, to reduce the delay in construction of these vital projects will also extend the cost of them, which will, as we know, has happened with a lot of projects. I think they have been delayed long enough. The strategic importance of these projects require a collective advocacy approach, as indicated with Lead West. It's really important to note also that while we wait for these projects, that an integrated transport plan is put in place, because whilst we wait for these projects, people can't get around Brimbank or across Brimbank. So one way that we have advocated for the past few years is an uplift in our bus services by making them a lot more efficient, a lot more frequent, and to take people to areas such as jobs hubs, to TAFEs, because it's all very well having free TAFE, but if kids can't get to that TAFE because they don't have any buses that go past their homes, or they can't get to jobs at Melbourne Airport, then we're not addressing the issue. So connectivity and integrated transport also should be a key issue, because we are a metropolitan activity centre, or MEAC as they say, and the increased housing applications to meet the demand for these key projects must also be a priority. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tarkos. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? I put the motion to vote. All in favour, please raise your hand. I declare this motion carried. I move to report number 12.3, Quarterly Advocacy Update March 2025. I invite Director Hill to present their report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This report outlines Council's advocacy highlights over the past 3 months, including our Rail Before Runway campaign and ensuing federal government announcement of an additional $2 billion towards transforming Sunshine Station as part of the Melbourne Airport Rail project. The report also seeks endorsement of proposed motions ahead of both the Municipal Association of Victoria's State Council meeting in May and the Australian Local Governance Association's National General Assembly in June. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Director Hill. Councillor, are there any questions to Director Hill? All right. May I have a mover for the report, please? Councillor Rashid?
I move report as per business papers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rashid. Councillor Crook for the seconder?
I second the motion as per the business papers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Crook. Councillor Rashid, could you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you.
Councillor Crook? Thank you. So would anyone else like to speak to the motion? Councillor, Madam Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just briefly to state that this report includes major advocacy highlights. Embedded in this report are also the notices of motion that have been submitted to the next MEV State Council meeting and to the ALGA National General Assemblies 2025. These are also important platforms for advocacy. Important also to note the new $2 billion committed by the federal government towards transforming Brimbank Sunshine Station rather. It also includes other successful application grants. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Could anyone else like to speak to the motion? I put the motion to the vote. All in favour, please raise your hand. I declare this motion carried. Report number 12.4, the Vietnamese Museum Australia and Welcoming Plaza. I invite Ms. Kubert to present their report.
Thank you again, Madam Mayor. This report provides an update on the Vietnamese Museum Australia project, including the associated Welcome Plaza and car park. It's recommended that Council notes the sale of the land to the Vietnamese Museum Australia has been completed and works on the building are scheduled to commence in the coming weeks. Notes that the construction of the VMA is planned to be completed in March 2026. Notes that Council officers have undertaken engagement with local multicultural groups, traditional owners and other stakeholders in relation to the design of the proposed plaza, and that a concept plan is now complete with information to be shared with the immediately adjoining neighbours. Notes that the external funding opportunities have been explored for the plaza and that to date external funding has not been secured. Notes that advocacy for external funding for the plaza will continue. Notes that potential council contribution to fund delivery of the plaza will be considered as part of the 2025-26 council budget process, and endorses the proposed name of the plaza as Wominjeka Plaza, and notes that the community consultation will be undertaken in accordance with the council's place naming policy and the Geographic Place Names Act. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kubers. Councillor, are there any questions to Ms. Gilbert? Right. Is there a mover of the motion? Councillor Truong?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yet move the motion on the screen.
Thank you, Councillor Truong. Is there the seconder? Councillor?
Second the
Sorry,
motion.
sorry, Councillor Lucy Nguyen. Sorry, Councillor Pham.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to second the motion as per the shared screen.
Thank you, Councillor Nguyen. Councillor Truong, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to note that council officers sold the sign at 119 Durham Road, Sunshine, to the Vietnamese Museum of Australia in Digital VMA on Friday, 7th of March 2025. The VMA will be the first museum in the world that will commemorate the story of the Vietnamese referee. And what the better place to build the Vietnamese museum than right in the Brimbank, one of Australia's most multicultural community and home for 32,000 residents of Vietnamese heritage, making up 70% of total Brimbank population. To celebrate the start of construction, the VMA held a stunning event on Sunday, which were a wonderful celebration of the important milestone depressed on the land. It is particularly significant because 2025 marked a 50-year anniversary of the first Vietnamese refugee settlement in Australia. When built, the VMA Museum will be the national significant cultural and visitor destination for the Vietnamese refugee around the world. I am the referee. This year, I'm 45 years settlement in Australia. I come here with nothing in my hand, only one plastic bag with the paper from immigration for the visa to entry Australia. 45 years give me the chance to rebuild my life and do settlement. The museum, I think, is mean a lot for the Vietnamese refugee people. It's not only in Brimbank, but around the world. 50 years settlement, and I believe that's one it help the chance for the people to remember the history of Vietnamese, the significant something for the Vietnamese, the first generation in here and the continue of the next graduation. The importance of the museum will be located directly opposite the new Sunshine Super Hub, and I am sure that's one of Melbourne Airport Rail is established will be seeing many visitors to the Sunshine CBD and the new museum. So I want to acknowledge and congratulate to the VMA for this important milestone and take this opportunity to say what and absolutely least is for Brimbank Council to cooperate with the Vietnamese Museum of Australia on this wonderful project for our community. At the part of the member and community, we very pleased and thank you very much for Brimbank Council for this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Truong. Councillor Nguyen, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to speak briefly on the Welcome Plaza. This is a new plaza council is seeking to build adjacent to the Vietnamese Museum Australia. This plaza space has been designed to sensitively embrace and celebrate Indigenous culture and be a place to welcome all communities to Brimbank and Melbourne. The concept has been developed through close consultation with the Wurundjeri elders as the traditional owners of the land, as well as with key multicultural groups in Brimbank. Council is currently advocating to both the federal and state governments for joint funding for this unique cultural plaza project. The new plaza is proposed to be named Wominjeka Plaza. Wominjeka means welcome in the Wurrung language of the Wurundjeri people. This name was recommended by the Wurundjeri elders during the consultation on the plaza design. And it is such an honour that Council has been granted official permission to use this word for the name of the plaza by the Wurundjeri elders. It is such a fitting name for a place of welcome right next to the Vietnamese Museum, Australia. And as the daughter of Vietnamese refugees, my family certainly felt really welcomed, and I wish that many diverse groups will continue to feel welcomed to Brimbank. If supported by Council, a formal community consultation will be undertaken to seek feedback on the proposed name. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nguyen. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? Councillor Pham?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So what's a significant highlight of 50 years Vietnamese settlement in Australia? And last weekend, we actually have a breaking ground event that to build a museum. And as a Vietnamese background person, I would like to also say thank you to Council to consider selling up land to build such a significant place for future reservation interaction and inspired story to be told, to be educate to community about the journey of Vietnamese refugee, and also to keeping in mind of the history of the passing time of the Vietnamese refugees. So congratulations to also the Vietnamese Museum group to actually going to this far after a lot of difficulty to bring it up to this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pham. Had anyone like to speak to the motion? I put the motion to the vote. All in favour, please raise your hand. Thank you. I declare the motion passed. We move to item number 13, notice of motion. There are no notice of motion. Item number 14, notices of rescission. There are no notice of rescission. Item number 15, urgent business. Madam CEO, is there any urgent business?
There is no urgent business, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam CEO. Item number 16, confidential business. There are no items of confidential business. We move to meeting close. Thank you all for attending and for your interest in tonight's meeting. I declare this meeting closed at 8:28 p.m. I instruct Channel 31 to stop live streaming this meeting. Thank you.